All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. What did we just watch? We saw Max Dowman exploding on the scene, right? Max Dowman making his name and basically win Arsenal the Premier League. In my opinion, this win against Everton was huge, especially because, as we saw later on in the day, Man City dropped points at West Ham. And this is Arsenal's title. This is our year, guys. This is the year we finally crossed the line. After coming second 3 years in a row, we are finally going to break that spell. After almost 22 years without winning the league, the last time we won it was the invincible season. Arsenal are going to win the Premier League, right? Arsenal, we have one hands on the trophy, guys. We have literally one hands on the trophy. We are going to win the Premier League. And it is because of 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁 bravery, because of that substitution, because the team wanted it so badly. And this video is just gonna just be praising the team, guys. There's no negativity in there. I did wish that our attacking players like Eze and Saka and those guys who, our star boys, even Declan Rice, I feel like we could have gone forward some more. Arteta could have made some changes even earlier. Um, and just kind of really gone for it some more. But he did make the change that I've been asking for, where he took up 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁 and of course, he played that extra attacker. He brought in 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁. So he made the right subs. It worked out. But of course, we know that we cannot keep the handbrake on. We have to go for it 100%. Right. So where do we start, guys? We start with Max Dowman changing the game and winning Arsenal the Premier League. This is the Dowmania. This is the era of Max Dowman. He's undoubtedly one of the most talented young players in the game today. And I compare him to the likes of Lamine Yamal at 16 doing what he's doing right now. And I think Lamar is better at finishing, especially when he curls in that left foot shot. But in terms of raw talent, right, this kid is better than Rooney. This kid is better than so many players just in terms of footballing IQ and technical ability. Yeah, Rooney was more aggressive, had you know, a more bullying style of playing, but Max Dowman, this kid is incredible. So I want to just praise the team as well tonight because Max Dowman should be worried about doing his exams, going to school on Monday. But here he is winning and helping Arsenal to win the Premier League by getting over the line against a really, really tough Everton team. They were incredibly difficult to beat tonight, right? So, like I said, this is a shift in the title race, in my opinion, because we went 9 points clear with Man City dropping points against West Ham. We went 10 points clear. They got a draw, so now the gap is 9 points. And is it over? Not completely. We still have a job to do, right? We know that we go to City in a couple of weeks, and as long as we can not get beaten, and City has to win every single game in hand, the one game in hand, and have to be perfect just to be able to catch us. So it's ours to lose, guys. We literally have one hand on the trophy. I believe we are going to win the Premier League this season because, in spite of what the haters say, we have been the best team in the league, the most defensively robust team, the best attacking team as well, based on the numbers. Yes, we know like at least 24 out of our 61 goals came from set pieces and corners and whatnot. I don't give it. I don't care. I'm sure you don't care as an Arsenal fan as well. It doesn't matter. All that matters is we are going to win the league, right? So the atmosphere at the Emirates was incredible, right? Around the 55th to the 60th minute, the crowd woke up and everyone realized, guys, we need to go for it. And again, credit to Mikel. He made the subs that he needed to, right? And one of the things that impressed me about this win is that Everton were incredibly good. They were not just they didn't just come to park the bus, right? They didn't just come to sit deep and defend. Their structure, their press, their counter attacking, they were so good on the counter. I mean, they hit the post twice. The mid block was tight. They were really organized with their press. So defensively, David Moyes and Everton deserve a lot of credit because they were dangerous on the counter attack. Remember, they hit the post as well, like I mentioned. And Arsenal had to really dig deep and show a lot of character. And when our character has been questioned over the years, but again, This is the moment when, if you're a championship team, you step up. And this is what the boys did today. They stepped up, we shifted gears, and I think this is going to propel us to win against Leverkusen in the week. The game against City for next weekend, the Carabao Cup final, in my opinion, that's a 50-50. They're both good teams. I'm very curious to see what team Arsenal Arteta puts out, because if he starts with Raya, I think we have a better chance to win. So it's going to be very interesting to see what type of team he plays. Um, so that's a toss up in my opinion. Either team could win. But Max Dowman, I just I'm going back to Max Dowman because this guy changed the game. Saka didn't look fluent, he struggled. I think he doesn't look the same. He looks like he's still hampered by that injury. He's lost a little bit of pace, so he doesn't look fully fit, in my opinion, or maybe psychological, but he's just not as quick as he used to be. Madueke gave his best. He tried. Martinelli came on. He tried. Eze, of course, did his thing, and this was the best Eze performance in an Arsenal shirt, in my opinion. Even though he didn't score, he didn't have an assist, but just his bravery, his willingness to just do something special and take shots outside the box. That left foot shot that he took outside the box. Eze was Eze, right? That's the Eze we saw at Crystal Palace, just trying different things. Even though he lost the ball a few times, but he was really trying to be the difference maker. And this was a coming of age moment, in my opinion, for Eze in an Arsenal shirt. But Max Dowman, we have to go back to Max Dowman. He came on in the 75th minute, right? And immediately, right away, he looks fearless. This guy looks like he doesn't care. And that's one of the things that really impresses me about him. Like in his mind, he has the ability to slow the game down and to play his game no matter what. It doesn't matter whether he's playing against Dan Burn or some other elite defender. It doesn't matter. He's just playing his game, and he forces you to play his game, right? He was taking players on, demanding the ball, gliding past defenders. And the thing about it, he doesn't look like he's 16 years old. He looked like a 24-year-old. So Max Dowman is playing at least 5 to 8 years above his age right now, which is what makes him special, right? So when he gets on the ball, he's looking to create, do something special, and he creates that chaos. So he has that it factor, right? And people are comparing him to Messi. I think that's a bit of a stretch right now. He's still too young, but you could see why, because he makes things happen. And of course, he gave that cross, which Pickford went out for. He missed it. It hit Hincapié, went across the box. Then Gyökeres had the tap in. But all that came from Max Dowman's endeavor, right? Late in the game again, Martinelli wins the ball in the box. Pickford is up trying to score, of course. He heads it out. Max Dowman heads it past the defender. Then he beats the oncoming defender by cutting inside, wins his duels. And what is incredible about him as well, he doesn't have to do step overs. He doesn't have to do any fancy tricks. It's just pure football intelligence, knowing when to do what. He always seems to do the right thing because he's just that smart, right? Then, of course, he rushes to the near the goal and he taps into an empty net, and the Emirates goes wild. It's one of those moments I believe we will remember for a very, very long time, because this was the shift in the title race, and it all came from a 16-year-old. Max Dowman, hats off to you, man. You have the entire world, the entire Arsenal world, the entire football world talking about this 16-year-old kid called Max Dowman. And I believe, guys, Max Dowman is here to stay. Dowmania is here to stay. And I think it has players like Bukayo Saka looking over his shoulder, realizing, hey, I got to up my game because this kid could literally come in and take my spot. And it might means we have to shift Bukayo and put him more central, right, to compete with Eze for that number 10 role. But I believe Max Dowman is here to stay. And like I said, it wasn't a perfect vintage performance, but the entire season has been that way, right? It's Declan Rice, want to shout him out because he was, of course, the boss in midfield. There's no better midfielder in the world, in my opinion, than Declan. And I really like the fact that when the game needed it, Mikel decided to take Zubi off and leave Declan by himself, because he can do the job of two players. He can sweep up, He can press forward. He can play the 8. He can play the 6. He does both, interchangeably throughout the game. So Declan, of course, bossed the game. Martinelli ran his socks off, constant running and pressing. He deserves a shout out as well. Bukayo Saka, of course, like I said, he struggled throughout the game, but he never stopped trying. He was always trying to make something happen. And of course, Calafiori, we know that block in the first half was immense. So the entire team really pushed together. In my opinion, the referee was not good at all. He was shocking in some ways. There was a clear penalty on Kai Havertz. I'm not going to really touch on that. Even though the contact was minimal, it was contact, just like the contact against Madueke against Leverkusen in the midweek. That should have been a penalty, and it nearly cost us. So the referee, in my opinion, was shocking. But of course, this is the Premier League. We've come to expect that. We don't get all of these calls, right? But thankfully, it didn't go down to the referee making an error. We took it in our own hands, and Max Dowman, I've said his name so many times, but Max Dowman, we literally saw the birth of a star tonight, guys. Do not take this for granted. This kid, in terms of raw potential and talent, he's better than Theo Walcott in his prime. He's better than Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's better than Aaron Ramsey, in my opinion. He's better than 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁. And these are some big names and big hitters. And we know a lot of these players didn't have the career that they should have had, partly because of injury, especially Jack. But Max Dowman, if he can remain fit and remain healthy for a prolonged period of time, he can go on to have the career of like a Wayne Rooney, something special, even beyond that, because he has this raw ability, and people are comparing him to Messi, which is the highest of praise. And I believe there is good reasons for that. I don't think he's as talented as Messi, but you could see his play, his setup, his profile is in the shadow of Messi. I'm just saying, guys. I'm calling it right now. But let me know your comments and your thoughts below in the comment box. What do you think? Were you impressed by Max Dowman? Is this the night Arsenal finally won the league? Because City dropped points and we didn't. We got all 3 points against Everton. Would love to hear your thoughts. Like I said, I've lost my voice. I'm just so excited. I'm so pumped because this was one of the sweetest nights to be an Arsenal fan. We haven't had many of those in the last few years, but today felt so good. And I'm just so proud of the team, proud of the guys, proud of 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁. They've worked so hard, and we're nearly there. We are nearly there, guys, and we are going to win this league. Thank you, Max Dowman. Thank you, Arsenal. Let's get it.